You're lying in bed, the world quiet except for the faint hum of your ceiling fan, which sounds suspiciously like it's plotting a rebellion against its own screws. The glow of your phone dims as you tap into this video, your eyes already heavy, your mind drifting like a leaf on the Nile. Welcome to the boring history for sleep, where we weave tales so soothingly monotonous, you'll be snoring before you learn anything useful. Tonight, we're strolling through ancient Egypt, chasing a curious cure for bad dreams, a remedy so strange, it makes modern sleep apps look like overpriced snake oil. You probably won't make it through this day, and that's the point. If you're enjoying this slow descent into history's lullaby, please give us a like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your location and local time. We love knowing where you're drifting off from. Now let's ease into tonight's journey. You stand on a dusty street in Memphis, Egypt, around 2500 BCE. The sun blazes overhead, a golden disk that feels less like a god and more like a cosmic oven preheating for eternity. Your sandals, flimsy things woven from papyrus, scrape against the packed earth, kicking up tiny clouds of sand that cling to your linen kilt. The air smells of baked mud, river water, and something faintly herbal, like a spice you can't name. But swear, you've smelled in a fancy tea blend. Around you, the city hums with life. A potter spins clay a few houses down, his wheel creaking like an overworked office chair. A woman balances a basket of figs on her head, her stride so smooth you're jealous of her core strength. And somewhere nearby, a donkey brays, sounding exactly like your neighbor's lawnmower at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. Memphis is the capital, the beating heart of the Old Kingdom, where pharaohs like Djoser commission pyramids that scream, "I'm immortal," while everyone else just tries to survive tax season. Major fact, the Step Pyramid of Djoser, designed by the architect Imhotep, is the world's first monumental stone structure, a prototype for the Giza giants to come. It's a big deal, but to you, it's just a jagged silhouette on the horizon, a reminder that someone, somewhere, is always overcompensating. You're not here for pyramids, though. You're here because last night, your dreams turned sour shadows chasing you through endless reed marshes, your heart pounding like you forgot to mute yourself on a Zoom call. The locals whisper of a cure, a ritual to banish nightmares, and you're desperate enough to try it. You pass a market stall where a man hawks amulets shaped like scarab beetles, swearing they'll protect you from evil spirits or bad investments. You roll your eyes, sounds like the ancient equivalent of a crypto bros NFT pitch. Obscure tidbit. Egyptians believed scarabs, those dung-rolling beetles, symbolize rebirth because they emerged from the earth like the sun god Ra. It's oddly poetic. But you're not buying jewelry from a guy whose sales pitch includes guaranteed to outlast your mortal coil. You keep walking, your kilt swishing against your legs, the linen so light it feels like wearing a cloud, if clouds were slightly itchy and smelled faintly of flax. A breeze carries the scent of the Nile, cool and green, tempting you to detour toward the riverbank. But you've got a mission. The locals point you to a temple of Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess who's as likely to heal you as she is to smite you for bad manners. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether Sekhmet, as priests, were primarily healers or just really good at intimidating people into feeling better. You're not sure you trust a goddess with fangs, but your nightmares have left you bleary-eyed, your head foggy like you've been doom-scrolling for hours. You turn down a narrow alley, the walls painted with faded hieroglyphs, eyes, reeds, and falcons staring at you like passive-aggressive coworkers. A stray cat, sleek and black, darts past, its tail brushing your ankle. You jump, then laugh at yourself. Great start, you mutter, scared by a kitten in a city that worships them. The temple looms ahead, its sandstone walls glowing in the late afternoon light. You pause, catching your breath, the heat pressing against your skin like a weighted blanket you didn't ask for. A priestess stands at the entrance, her shaven head gleaming, her eyes sharp enough to cut through your skepticism. She beckons you inside, her voice low and melodic, promising relief from your restless nights. You hesitate, glancing back at the street. The potter's still spinning, the donkey's still complaining. You could turn back, grab a beer brewed from barley, and call it a day. But those dreams, they cling to you like damp bedsheets. You step forward, the temple's cool shadow swallowing you whole, and wonder if you're about to find peace or just another ancient scam. You step into the temple of Sekhmet, and the world shifts. The air is cooler, heavy with the scent of myrrh, like someone's been burning incense to cover up a cosmic bad decision. The sandstone walls are carved with scenes of the goddess, her lioness face snarling, her paws crushing enemies who clearly didn't read the fine print on their afterlife insurance. Your sandals slap softly against the polished floor, echoing in the vast chamber like you're interrupting a meeting you weren't invited to. Torches flicker, casting shadows that dance like over-caffeinated ghosts, and you half expect one to whisper, "You're late, and we're out of papyrus." You smirk at the thought ancient bureaucracy sounds worse than your DMV. The priestess, whose name you didn't catch, gestures for you to follow. Her linen robe swishes, pristine despite the dust outside, and you wonder if she's got an ancient Egyptian Tide Pod stashed somewhere. Major fact. Temples like this one were not just religious hubs but medical centers, where priests and priestesses doubled as doctors, blending herbal remedies with rituals to treat everything from toothaches to existential dread. You're here for the latter, though you wouldn't mind a cure for that crick in your neck from sleeping on a reed mat last night. Nefertari leads you past an altar, piled with offerings, loaves of bread, jars of honey, and a single, slightly wilted lotus flower that looks like it was added as an afterthought. You relate to that flower more than you'd admit. She stops at a low stone table, its surface etched with faint star charts, as if someone tried to map the heavens but got bored halfway. "Your dreams," she says, her voice like a lullaby with an edge. "They trouble you." You nod, suddenly self-conscious, like you're confessing to a therapist who moonlights as a lion goddess. You describe the marsh, the shadows, the panic that lingers like a bad Wi-Fi signal. Nefertari listens, her expression unreadable, then reaches for a clay jar sealed with beeswax. Obscure tidbit. Egyptians used honey not just as a sweetener, but as a medicine, believing its sticky sweetness could trap evil spirits or at least make your ailments taste better. You're not sure how honey fights nightmares, but you're intrigued, mostly because you're hungry, and the bread on the altar is looking tempting. Nefertari cracks the seal, and the jar releases a scent like a meadow got lost in a spice bazaar: honey, chamomile, and something sharp, maybe coriander. She mixes it with water from a copper bowl, stirring with a reed that looks suspiciously like the ones growing by the Nile. "Drink this," she says, handing you a cup. You eye it, wondering if it's the ancient equivalent of a sketchy energy drink. "What's in it?" you ask, stalling. She raises an eyebrow, and you swear Sekhmet's carved face on the wall smirks. "Peace," she says, which is both cryptic and annoyingly unhelpful. You sip, cautiously. It's warm, sweet, with a bitter aftertaste that makes your tongue curl like a cat stretching in the sun. You grimace, and Nefertari chuckles first joke of the day, and it's on you. The drink settles in your stomach, heavy but not unpleasant, like a hug from someone who doesn't know their own strength. Nefertari guides you to a reed mat, gesturing for you to lie down. The temple's quiet now, save for the faint drip of water somewhere deep in the chamber, a rhythm so steady it's practically a samar. You ease onto the mat, the reeds crackling under your weight, and stare at the ceiling, where painted stars glow faintly in the torchlight. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether these temple rituals were purely psychological, or if the herbal concoctions had actual sedative effects. You're leaning toward placebo with a side of honey, but your eyelids are already drooping, so maybe Nefertari's onto something. She begins to chant, her voice weaving through the air like a thread through linen. You don't understand the words. Ancient Egyptian sounds like a mix of poetry and a cat walking on a harp. But it's soothing, like a podcast you play to drown out your thoughts. Remember the street you walked past earlier? It's back in your mind's eye, the potter's wheel still creaking, the donkey still whining. But it's distant now, fading as the chant pulls you deeper. You're not asleep, not yet, but you're floating, the temple's walls blurring into a soft golden haze. Nefertari's voice fades, replaced by the drip of water, and you wonder if this is the cure or just a really good nap. Either way, you're not complaining. You're drifting, caught in that hazy space between waking and dreaming, where the temple's cool air brushes your skin like a forgotten breeze from the Nile. Nefertari's chant lingers in your ears, a low hum that feels like it's stitching your scattered thoughts back together. The reed mat beneath you crackles faintly as you shift, its texture grounding you even as your mind wanders. The painted stars on the ceiling seem to pulse, or maybe that's just your heartbeat slowing, lulled by the honey drink still warming your chest. You're not sure if this is the cure for your nightmares or just an ancient Egyptian version of a guided meditation app, but you're too relaxed to care. Honestly, if this doesn't work, you're stealing that altar bread on your way out. The temple feels alive, its shadows curling around you like a cat deciding whether you're worth its time. Nefertari's voice fades, replaced by the steady drip of water, each drop landing with the precision of a metronome set to maximum chill. You close your eyes, and the world tilts, soft and golden, like you're sinking into a sun-warmed pool. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed dreams were messages from the gods, or glimpses of the future. So a bad dream wasn't just a nuisance, it was divine DM you couldn't ignore. Your nightmares, with their endless marshes and chasing shadows, would have sent any respectable Memphite scrambling to a priestess like Nefertari, hoping to decode the cosmic spam before it got worse. You picture the marshes now, reeds swaying in a dream wind, their tips brushing the sky like they're gossiping with the stars. But something's different. The shadows don't lunge. They hover, hesitant, like coworkers, unsure if they're invited to the happy hour. Nefertari's drink, or maybe her chant, is doing something. Your heart's not racing, your chest not tight. You almost smirk, imagining telling your friends back home you beat a nightmare with a cup of spicy honey tea. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians sometimes burned incense made from kifi, a blend of raisins, wine, and myrrh, to induce pleasant dreams, believing its smoky sweetness could bribe the gods into sending better visions. You sniff the air, catching a whiff of something fruity and resinous, and wonder if Nefertari's got a kifi diffuser hidden behind Sekhmet's statue. Your thoughts drift to the street outside, that potter's wheel creaking like it's auditioning for a lo-fi playlist. You imagine the potter, hands slick with clay, shaping a jar that'll hold someone's grain, or maybe a love letter they'll never send. Life here feels so ordinary. People work, eat, complain about taxes, yet it's layered with this quiet faith that every dream, every beetle, every river ripple means something. You're not sure you buy it, but it's oddly comforting, like believing your horoscope just this once. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether dream rituals like this were standardized across Egypt or varied by region, with Memphis's priests maybe adding their own flair, like a barista doodling on your latte phone. Nefertari's voice returns, softer now, guiding you to walk toward the light. You snort sounds like a cliché near-death experience, and you're not even that sleepy yet. But you play along, imagining a glow beyond the marsh, warm and steady, like a campfire you didn't have to build yourself. Your dream self steps forward, reeds parting with a soft hiss, and the shadows scatter, sulky as teenagers told to clean their rooms. You're winning, or at least not losing, which feels like a victory. Nefertari's chant grows fainter, and you realize she's not speaking to you anymore. She's murmuring to Sekhmet, asking the goddess to guard this one's sleep. You hope Sekhmet's in a good mood, because you've seen her paws on those wall carvings, and they don't look cuddly. The mat beneath you feels softer now, or maybe you're just sinking deeper into that floaty haze. The temple's drip-drip rhythm blends with your breathing, slow and even, like you've finally synced with the universe's Spotify playlist. You're not asleep, but you're close, teetering on the edge like a cat napping on a windowsill. You wonder if this is the cure, not banishing the nightmares, but teaching you to face them, calm and sarcastic, like you're telling the shadows. Really? That's all you got? For the first time in days, you feel light, unburdened, like you've left your phone on silent and the world can wait. You hover in that golden haze, the temple's walls fading into a soft blur, like someone smudged the edges of reality with a lazy finger. The reed mat cradles you, its faint crackle a reminder you're still in Memphis, not some ethereal dreamscape, though you're starting to question the difference. Nefertari's voice is gone, but her presence lingers, a quiet confidence that says, "I've got this, even if you don't." The air smells of myrrh and that kiffy incense, sweet and smoky, like a dessert you'd regret eating but can't resist. Your eyelids are heavy, your limbs loose, and you're pretty sure you could sleep through a chariot race right now. If only your upstairs neighbor in 2500 BCE would stop dragging furniture at midnight. The drip of water echoes, slower now, each drop landing like a gentle nudge towards sleep. You're not fighting it anymore. You're letting the temple pull you under, its rhythm as steady as a parent rocking a cradle. Major fact: ancient Egyptian medicine was surprisingly advanced, with priests documenting treatments for ailments like insomnia and anxiety in texts like the Ebers Papyrus, a 20-meter-long scroll that's basically the world's oldest medical Wikipedia. You imagine Nefertari consulting a papyrus, her finger tracing hieroglyphs for a nightmare cure, while you lie here, half dozing, half wondering if you should have asked for the recipe to that honey drink. It'd probably sell better than your local coffee shop's oat milk latte. Your dream marsh reappears, but it's calmer now, the reeds swaying lazily, the sky a deep indigo speckled with stars. The shadows are still there, lurking like they're waiting for an opening, but you're not scared. You feel prepared, like you've got a snarky comeback ready for whatever they throw at you. You step forward, your dream sandals squishing in the mud, and notice something glinting in the reeds, a small amulet, shaped like an eye. Obscure tidbit: the Widget Eye, or Eye of Horus, was a common protective charm, believed to ward off evil and restore wholeness, like a divine version of "I've got your back." You pick it up, its cool metal soothing against your palm, and tuck it into your kilt, half expecting it to vanish like a plot twist in a cheap novel. The amulet's weight grounds you, a tiny anchor in this dream world. You glance at the shadows, daring them to try something, and they slink back, muttering like they've been outvoted in a group chat. You chuckle second joke of the day, and it's on them. The marsh fades, replaced by the temple's starry ceiling, and you realize you're back, lying on the mat, the real world seeping in. Nefertari's kneeling nearby, grinding herbs with a pestle, the soft scrape blending with the water's drip. She doesn't look at you, but you feel her attention, sharp and steady, like she's monitoring your soul's Wi-Fi signal. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether the Wedget Eye's protective power was purely symbolic, or if Egyptians believed it held tangible magic, like a talisman you could actually recharge. You're leaning toward cool story, bro, but the amulet in your dream felt real enough to make you wonder. You shift on the mat, the reeds poking your back, and decide you're Team Nefertari for now. She's earned it, with her creepy lion goddess and her suspiciously tasty medicine. The temple's quiet, save for her grinding and the drip-drip, and you're sinking again, deeper this time, like you're falling into the Nile itself, cool and endless. You picture the street outside, the potter's wheel still spinning, the donkey probably napping by now. Life goes on, but you're here, floating in this moment. Your nightmare's not gone, but quieter, like a neighbor who finally got the hint about their loud music. Nefertari hums softly, a melody that feels older than the pyramids, and you let it carry you. You're not cured, not yet, but you're closer, and that's enough. Your last thought, before sleep tugs you under, is that you really should have grabbed that altar bread. Maybe tomorrow. You're sinking deeper now. The temple is golden haze wrapping around you like a blanket you didn't realize you needed. The reed mat beneath you feels less pokey, more like a lumpy but lovable couch that's seen too many movie nights. Nefertari's humming drifts through the air, a melody so ancient it could have been the background track for the gods group chat. The scent of Kifi incense lingers, sweet and smoky, mingling with the faint tang of crushed herbs from her pestle. You're not sure if you're awake or dreaming, but the line's blurry, like trying to read the fine print on a sunscreen bottle after a day at the beach. If you fall asleep now, you're blaming Nefertari's voice. It's practically a lullaby with a PhD in soothing. The drip of water in the temple keeps time, slow and deliberate, like a clock that's decided deadlines are overrated. You breathe in sync with it, your chest rising and falling as if the Nile itself is rocking you. Major fact: ancient Egyptians viewed sleep as a liminal state, a doorway to the divine, where gods like Bes, the stubby, lion-faced protector, could slip in to guard your dreams, or at least scare off the bad ones with his goofy grin. You picture Bes now, waddling through your marsh dream, brandishing a tambourine like he's crashing a party he wasn't invited to. The thought makes you smile. First joke of the day, and it is on a god who looks like he'd lose at arm wrestling to a kitten. Your hand brushes the imaginary wedged eye amulet from your dream, still tucked in your kilt. It's cool way to reminder that you're not as alone as those shadows made you feel. The marsh is gone now, replaced by a vast desert in your mind's eye. Sand stretching endless under a sky so starry it looks like someone spilled glitter. You walk, your sandals sinking slightly, the crunch of sand oddly satisfying, like popping bubble wrap you didn't know you had. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians use sand in rituals to symbolize purification, scattering it to cleanse spaces or even rubbing it on their bodies like an ancient exfoliating scrub. You're not keen on a sand bath, but the desert feels clean, quiet, a place where nightmares might get lost and decide not to come back. Nefertari's pestle scrapes softly, grounding you in the temple, even as your dream self wanders. You wonder what she's grinding: more chamomile, some secret herb that's the ancient equivalent of melatonin gummies. You'd ask, but your tongue feels heavy, your thoughts slow, like you're wading through honey. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether priests like Nefertari followed strict recipes for their remedies, or improvised like chefs on a cooking show with no budget. You hope she's not freestyling, because that honey drink was a hit, and you're not ready for a sequel that tastes like regret. The desert in your dream shifts, a breeze stirring the sand into soft ripples, like the Nile's waves frozen in time. You spot a figure in the distance, vague, shimmering, maybe Bes, or just your brain remixing Nefertari's lion goddess vibes. You wave, half expecting them to ghost you like an unread text, but they nod, as if saying, "Keep going, you're not screwing this up." You laugh under your breath, second joke, and it's on your dream self for thinking you could high-five a god. The figure fades, and you're alone again, but not lonely. The stars above burn brighter, and you feel safe, like you've got a cosmic VPN shielding your sleep. Back in the temple, Nefertari's humming stops, and you hear her shift, maybe standing to check on you. You crack one eye open, catching her silhouette against the torchlight. Her movement's graceful but practical, like she's done this 1,000 times. Remember the street you walked past earlier? It's back in your thoughts. The potter's wheel creaking. The figs lady probably sold out by now. Life outside hums on, but here, time's on pause, and you're grateful for it. You close your eye, sinking back into the desert. The sand cool now, inviting you to lie down. You do, and the stars spin slowly, a lullaby and light, pulling you closer to sleep than you've been in days. You're lying in the dream desert, sand cradling you like a mattress that's finally figured out your spine's complaints. The stars above wheel lazily, their light soft but steady, like a nightlight you'd swear you didn't need but secretly love. The temple's drip is faint now, a distant echo blending with the desert's quiet, where the only sound is the occasional whisper of wind, like the universe gossiping about someone else's problems. Your body feels weightless, your mind unmoored, drifting like a papyrus boat on the Nile's gentlest current. If this is Nefertari's cure, you're ready to leave her a 5-star review, though you're pretty sure Yelp hasn't been invented yet. The Wedged Eye amulet presses against your side, a small but solid reminder of the temple's magic, or maybe just your brain's knack for clinging to shiny objects. You roll it between your fingers, its edges smooth, warm from your touch. Major fact, the Eye of Horus wasn't just a charm but a mathematical symbol. Its parts representing fractions, used to measure grain or medicine, like an ancient pie chart carved in stone. You try to picture Nefertari measuring out your honey drink with sacred geometry, and it's oddly hilarious first joke of the day, imagining her as a divine barista with a hieroglyphic calculator. The desert shifts, the sand rippling into low dunes, and you sit up feeling oddly alert, like you've had just enough coffee to function, but not enough to stress. A path appears, faint but clear, winding toward a distant oasis, its palm trees swaying like they're auditioning for a postcard. You stand, brushing sand from your kilt, and start walking, your sandals barely sinking now, as if the desert's decided to cut you some slack. Obscure tidbit. Egyptians believed oases were sacred, homes to gods or spirits, and travelers left offerings like beads or shells to ensure safe passage, like tipping a cosmic Uber driver. You pat your kilt, half hoping to find a bead to toss, but settle for a sarcastic, "Thanks, desert," under your breath-second joke, and it's on you for talking to sand. The oasis grows closer, its water glinting under the starlight, cool and inviting, like a pool you'd sneak into at a fancy hotel. You kneel by the edge, dipping your fingers, the water so clear you can see your reflection-tired eyes, messy hair, but calmer than you've felt in weeks. You splash your face, the cold snapping you back to the temple for a moment. Nefertari's there, arranging small clay lamps on the stone table, their wicks flickering like tiny stars. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether lamps in ritual symbolize divine light or were just practical, like leaving a porch light on for late-night dreamers. You're voting for both, because Nefertari seems too practical to waste oil on vibes alone. The oasis fades, and you're fully back on the reed mat. The temple's air cooler now, the myrcent fainter, like it's decided its work is done. Nefertari's lamps cast a soft glow, and you notice she's watching you, her expression unreadable, but not unkind, like a teacher who knows you'll pass, but won't say it yet. You shift, the mat crackling, and realize your nightmares haven't returned. The marsh, the shadows, they're quiet, maybe gone, like a spam email finally filtered out. You want to thank her, but your voice feels distant, your body heavy, like you're melting into the floor. Remember the donkey from the street? Its brain pops into your head. Distant now, probably dreaming of carrots or whatever donkeys dream about. You smile, letting the thought drift away, the temple's rhythm drip, flicker, Nefertari's soft steps pulling you under. You're not asleep, not yet, but you're close, teetering like a boat at the Nile's edge, ready to float. The Wedged Eye, real or not, feels like it's still with you, and you wonder if this is the cure. Not a potion, not a chant, but a quiet belief that you can face the dark and come out smirking. You're teetering on the edge of sleep, the temple's cool air brushing your skin like a sigh from the Nile itself. The reed mat beneath you creaks softly, a faint reminder of the world you're still tethered to, though it feels more like a suggestion than a fact. Nefertari's lamps flicker, their tiny flames dancing like they're trying to impress each other, casting golden flecks across the sandstone walls. The scent of myrrh has faded, leaving a trace of something earthier, like damp clay or the memory of rain. Your body's heavy, your thoughts sluggish, drifting like a papyrus scroll unrolled and forgotten. If you fall asleep now, you're pretty sure you'll dream of Nefertari's invoice for this whole experience itemized, hieroglyphic, and definitely not covered by insurance. The drip of water in the temple is your anchor. Each drop a gentle tap on your consciousness, like a friend nudging you to stay awake during a boring meeting. But you don't want to stay awake. You want to sink, to let the desert from your last dream pull you back. Major fact: ancient Egyptians used dream incubation, sleeping in temples to receive divine guidance or healing. A practice so common that temples like this one had special chambers just for dreamers like you. You imagine rows of snoozing Egyptians, all hoping for a godly PowerPoint presentation in their sleep. And it's almost too absurd to take seriously first joke of the day, and it's on them for thinking gods have office hours. Your dream desert reappears. The sand cool under your feet. The stars above bright enough to make you squint. The wedged eye amulet, still tucked in your kilt, hums with a faint warmth, like it's trying to remind you it's more than just a shiny trinket. You walk toward the oasis again, its palms swaying lazily, their fronds whispering secrets you're too relaxed to decode. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians believed palm trees were sacred to Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, who supposedly invented writing and moonlighted as a dream interpreter. You glance at the palms, half expecting Thoth to pop out with a notepad and a "let's unpack that marsh nightmare" attitude. But it's just you and the quiet. The oasis water glints, reflecting stars like a mirror that's too pretty to be practical. You kneel, splashing your face again, the cold sharp but kind, like a friend who tells you your haircut's bad, but still loves you. The shadows from your nightmares are nowhere in sight, probably sulking in some cosmic corner after you sassed them last time. You smirk second joke, and it's on those shadows for thinking they could outlast your sarcasm. The amulet pulses, or maybe that's your imagination, but it feels like a nod, a quiet "you got this" from the universe, or maybe just Nefertari's herbal brew. Back in the temple, you hear her footsteps, soft but deliberate, like she's pacing to keep Sekhmet's statue from getting bored. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether amulets like the wedged eye were mass-produced trinkets or individually blessed by priests, each one carrying a unique spark of divine favor. You're betting on trinket with a good marketing team, but the amulet's weight in your dream feels personal, like it was made for you. You shift on the mat, the reeds poking just enough to remind you you're not fully gone yet. The desert fades, blending with the temple's starry ceiling, and you're caught between worlds, floating in a haze that's half sand, half incense. Nefertari's voice returns, not chanting now but speaking low, her words too soft to catch, like she's negotiating with the gods on your behalf. You want to thank her, but your mouth's too lazy, your body too content. Remember the figs lady from the street? She's back in your thoughts, probably haggling with a customer over her last basket, her voice as sharp as Nefertari's gaze. Life outside the temple churns on, but here, you're untethered, drifting like a boat on a current that knows where it's going. The lamps flicker, the drip continues, and you let go, trusting the temple, or at least Nefertari, to keep your nightmares at bay. You're floating now, the temple's boundaries dissolving into a soft blur, like someone forgot to sharpen the edges of the world. The reed mat's still there, its crackle faint, like a distant memory of crunching leaves. Nefertari's lamps cast a warm glow, their light pooling on the floor like spilled honey, and the air smells faintly of lotus, clean and floral, like a candle you buy but never light. Your breathing slows, matching the temple's drip-drip, each inhale pulling you deeper into this golden nowhere. If this is Nefertari's cure, it's working too well. You're half tempted to ask for a weaker dose so you can stay awake long enough to steal her playlist. The desert from your dream lingers, its sand now a soft carpet under your dream feet. The oasis shimmering in the distance like a mirage with better branding. The wedged eye amulet sits heavy in your kilt, a quiet reminder that you're carrying something, protection, luck, or maybe just a really good placebo. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed the afterlife was a dreamlike realm called the Field of Reeds, a paradise of endless marshes and rivers where the soul could live forever, assuming you didn't flunk the heart-weighing test with Anubis. You picture the Field of Reeds now, suspiciously like your nightmare marsh, but with better lighting and no creepy shadows. And it's almost funny first joke, imagining Anubis with a clipboard muttering, "Next, please. Keep it moving." You walk toward the oasis, the path clearer now, lined with small stones that gleam like they've been polished by obsessive-compulsive spirits. The palms sway, their fronds brushing the air, and you catch a faint scent of dates, sweet and sticky, like nature's candy bar. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians used date wine in rituals, believing its sweetness could appease gods or at least make them tipsy enough to grant favors. You imagine offering a glass to Thoth, hoping he'd trade dream interpretation tips for a sip. But you've got no wine, just the amulet and your questionable decision-making skills. The oasis water ripples as you approach, its surface catching starlight like a net. You dip your hands, the cold biting but refreshing, like splashing your face after a long day of scrolling through bad news. The shadows are gone, not even lurking, and you feel a quiet triumph, like you finally blocked a toxic ex from your dreamscape. You grin second joke, and it's on those shadows for thinking they could haunt you forever. The amulet hums again, or maybe it's your pulse, steady and calm, like you've finally figured out how to mute your brain's notifications. Back in the temple, Nefertari's arranging her lamps, their flames steady now, like they've decided to commit to the job. You hear her murmur something, maybe a prayer, maybe a grocery list, and it's comforting, like overhearing your mom on the phone when you were a kid. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether temple priests used hypnosis-like techniques in dream rituals, or if the chants and herbs were just really good at knocking people out. Your team hypnosis, mostly because Nefertari's voice feels like it's rewiring your brain to do not disturb mode. The oasis fades, the temple's starry ceiling sliding back into view, its painted constellations winking like they know something you don't. You shift on the mat. The reed's softer now, or maybe you're just too relaxed to care. Remember the potter from the street. His wheel's probably still spinning, shaping jars that'll outlast everyone you've ever met. The thought's humbling, but not heavy, and you let it drift away, carried by the drip-drip and the faint rustle of Nefertari's robe. You're not asleep, not quite, but you're close. Your nightmare's quiet, your mind clear, like a sky after a storm. The amulet's weight, real or not, anchors you, and you think, maybe, you're ready to face whatever comes next. You're suspended in a golden fog, the temple's edges softened like a watercolor left out in the rain. The reed mat beneath you hums with a faint crackle, less intrusive now, more like the white noise of a forest you've never visited. Nefertari's lamps glow steadily, their light spilling across the floor in lazy pools. And the air carries a whisper of lotus and clay, as if the Nile itself exhaled into the room. Your body's a distant thing, heavy but unimportant, like a suitcase you've decided not to unpack. If Nefertari's cure for nightmares comes with a side effect of feeling like you re-napping on a cloud, you were not complaining, though you half expecting her to hand you a bill for divine ambience any second now. The drip of water in the temple is your metronome, each drop a soft nudge toward oblivion, like a friend gently poking you during a lecture you're both ignoring. Your breathing syncs with it, slow and deep, pulling you back to the dream desert where the sand glitters under starlight. Major fact: Ancient Egyptians believed the god Ptah, creator of the universe, shaped the world through words and dreams, making sleep a sacred act where mortals could tap into his creative juice. You picture Ptah now, muttering cosmic to-do lists in his sleep. And it's almost too much first joke of the day, imagining a god with a dream journal app that's always crashing. The oasis from your last dream shimmers ahead, its palms swaying like they're grooving to a tune you can't hear. The wedged eye amulet in your kilt pulses faintly, a quiet reminder that you're not just wandering aimlessly, or at least, you hope not. You step toward the water, your sandals barely disturbing the sand, and notice small footprints trailing beside yours, too tiny to be human. Obscure tidbit. Egyptians revered dwarf gods like Bez, not just for protection, but for their connection to childbirth and sleep, believing their small stature made them nimble enough to slip into dreams unnoticed. You glance at the footprints, half expecting Bez to pop up with a tambourine and a surprise. But it's just you, the sand, and the stars. The oasis water laps gently, reflecting a sky so clear it's like the universe decided to show off. You kneel, dipping your fingers, the cold a soft jolt that makes you feel alive, but not annoyingly so, like a perfect morning stretch. The shadows from your nightmares are gone, probably off sulking in some divine timeout corner. You smirk second joke, and it's on them for thinking they could outlast your newfound chill. The amulet's warmth spreads, or maybe that's just your imagination, but it feels like a pat on the back from someone who believes in you, even if it's just a carved piece of metal. Back in the temple, Nefertari's moving again, her robe rustling like papyrus in a breeze. You hear the faint clink of clay jars, like she's restocking her mystical pantry, and it's oddly grounding, like overhearing your neighbor rearrange their kitchen at 2 a.m. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether temple rituals like this use specific herbs for their chemical effects, or if the sensory overload incense, chants, lamps was the real magic. You're betting on all of the above, because Nefertari's setup feels like a masterclass in ASMR with a side of pharmacology. The oasis fades, the temple's starry ceiling sliding back into view, its constellations winking like they're in on the joke. You shift on the mat, the reeds softer now. Or maybe you're just too relaxed to notice their pokes. Remember the donkey from the street? Its braying echoes in your mind, faint and far, probably dreaming of a world without carts to pull. The thought drifts away, carried by the drip-drip and Nefertari's quiet clinks, and you're sinking again, deeper, like a stone settling into the Nile's bed. Your nightmares feel distant, not gone, but irrelevant, like an email you've marked as read without replying. You're ready to let go, trusting the temple's rhythm to carry you through. You're adrift in the temple's glow, the world reduced to a soft hum of light and sound, like you stumbled into the universe's coziest waiting room. The reed mat's barely noticeable now, its crackle so faint it's like a memory of stepping on autumn leaves. Nefertari's lamps burn low, their flames steady but sleepy, casting shadows that curl along the walls like they're too tired to dance anymore. The air smells of lotus and something faintly spicy, maybe coriander from her herbal stash, like the temple's brewing a potion just for you. Your limbs are loose, your mind a lazy river, and you're half convinced Nefertari's secretly a sleep wizard who's about to charge you for premium dream access. The drip of water keeps its rhythm, slow and stubborn, like a clock that's decided time can wait. You breathe with it, each exhale pulling you deeper into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars burn with a quiet confidence. Major fact: ancient Egyptians used oracles, often priests or priestesses, to interpret dreams, believing they could translate divine messages into practical advice, like a celestial customer service hotline. You imagine Nefertari as an oracle, scribbling your marsh nightmare on a papyrus spreadsheet, and its absurdly funny first joke of the day, picturing her muttering, "Gods, Another marsh chase? Take a number. The oasis is closer now. Its water so still it's like a mirror for the stars. The wedged eye amulet sits heavy in your kilt. Its warmth a soft pulse, like a friend texting, "You good?" At just the right moment. You notice offerings by the water small shells, a broken bead, a twig tied with thread like someone left tips for the gods. Obscure tidbit. Egyptians left such offerings at sacred sites, believing they'd curry favor with spirits or gods, like slipping a note under the universe's door. You pat your kilt, wishing you had a shell to toss, but settle for a mental thanks oasis, which feels about as effective second joke, and it's on you for thinking the desert takes Venmo. You dip your hands in the water, the cold sharp but soothing, like biting into an apple after a long day. The shadows are still up UOL, probably realizing they picked the wrong dreamer to mess with. The amulet's warmth spreads, and you feel, oh, like you finally found the missing tab on a browser you closed by accident. Back in the temple, Nefertari is rearranging her jars. The clink's soft but deliberate, like she's composing a lullaby with pottery. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether offerings like those by the oasis were symbolic gestures or believed to have literal power, like charging a divine battery. You're leaning towards symbolic but with vibes, because the shells in your dream felt oddly significant, like a cosmic post-it note. The oasis fades, the temple's ceiling returning, its painted stars glowing like they're rooting for you. You shift on the mat, the reeds barely registering, your body sinking like a stone in honey. Remember the figs lady from the street? She's back in your thoughts, probably counting her coins by now, her basket long empty. Life outside the temple hums, but here, you're cocooned. The drip and Nefertari's clinks weaving a net to catch you as you fall. Your nightmares are quiet, not even a whisper, like a radio station you finally tuned out. The amulet, real or dreamed, anchors you, and you think, maybe this is what peace feels like, a desert, a star, a temple, and no shadows to ruin the view. You're cradled in the temple's soft glow, the world a hazy murmur of light and shadow, like you've wandered into a painting that's still drying. The reed mat beneath you is barely there, its faint crackle a whisper of reality, like the sound of pages turning in a book you've already forgotten. Nefertari's lamps flicker, their flames low and lazy, casting golden ripples across the sandstone walls, as if the temple itself is breathing. The air smells of lotus and a hint of something warm, maybe baked bread from a distant offering, tempting you to wonder if Nefertari's got a secret snack stash. Your body's weightless, your thoughts drifting like a leaf caught in the Nile's slowest current. If this is the cure for nightmares, you're ready to sign up for the annual plan, though you're pretty sure Nefertari's fine print includes must worship lion goddess. The drip of water in the temple keeps its steady rhythm, each drop a soft tap, like a friend reminding you to relax during a yoga class you're only pretending to understand. You exhale, sinking back into the dream desert, where the sand's cool and the stars pulse with a quiet insistence, like they've got a story to tell, but no rush to tell it. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed the soul, or Ba, could leave the body during sleep, traveling through dreams to commune with gods or ancestors, like a spiritual Zoom call with terrible reception. You picture your Ba now, flapping around the desert like a confused bird. And it's almost too much first joke of the day, imagining it getting lost and asking a star for directions. The oasis shimmers ahead, its palms swaying gently, their fronds brushing the air like they're waving you over. The wedged eye amulet in your kilt feels heavier now, its warmth a steady pulse, like a heartbeat you didn't know you were missing. You notice a small shrine by the water, a pile of stones topped with a carved lotus, weathered but proud, like it's been waiting for you. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians built such miniature shrines in remote places, leaving them as markers for travelers or gods, like spiritual breadcrumbs scattered across the desert. You kneel by the shrine, half tempted to add a pebble, but your kilt's empty, so you mutter a sarcastic, nice setup, instead second joke. And it's on you for thinking a shrine takes compliments. The oasis water reflects the stars, its surface so still it's like a window to another world. You dip your fingers, the cold, sharp but kind, like a splash of reality that doesn't ruin the vibe. The shadows from your nightmares are long gone, probably off licking their wounds in some divine group therapy session. The amulet's warmth spreads, and you feel anchored, like you've finally found the right charger for your soul's battery. Back in the temple, Nefertari's footsteps echo softly, her robe swishing like a breeze through reeds. You hear the faint scrape of a jar lid, like she's prepping another potion, and it's comforting, like knowing someone's got your back even when you're half asleep. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether the Ba's dream journeys were seen as literal travels or symbolic metaphors, like a poet's way of saying, you had a weird dream, deal with it. You're leaning toward literal, but with wiggle room, because the desert feels too real, the shrine too solid to be just your brain's fanfiction. You shift on the mat, the reed's softer now, or maybe you're just too relaxed to care. Remember the potter from the street? His wheels back in your thoughts, spinning endlessly, shaping jars that'll hold someone's dreams, or maybe just their laundry. The thought drifts, carried by the drip-drip and Nefertari's quiet movements, and you're sinking deeper. Your nightmare is a faint memory, like a movie you walked out of halfway through. You're floating in the temple's golden haze, the world reduced to a soft pulse of light and sound, like you stumbled into the universe's chillest lounge. The reed mat's a distant memory. Its crackle so faint, it's like the echo of a dream you're not sure you had. Nefertari's lamps burn low, their shadows barely stirring, like they've clocked out for the night, but left a nightlight on for you. The air smells faintly of lotus and something earthy, maybe the clay from her jars, grounding you in a way that's both ancient and oddly homey. Your mind's adrift, your body a suggestion, and you're half convinced Nefertari's slipped you a cosmic. Ambien though, you're sure she'd call it Sekhmet's Sleepy Time Special. The drip-drip of water is your lifeline, steady and patient, like a metronome set to no stress allowed. You follow it, slipping back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars burn with a quiet confidence, like they've seen it all and still think you're doing okay. Major fact: ancient Egyptians used dream books, like the Chester Beatty Papyrus, to interpret dreams, cataloging symbols and their meanings with the precision of a librarian who loves their job too much. You imagine Nefertari flipping through one, muttering about your marsh nightmare like it's a cliche, and it's almost too funny first joke picturing her sighing, "Marsh chase again?" Get an original plot. Moral: you notice the amulet is gone now, its purpose served, and you feel a sense of peace wash over you. The oasis is right there, its water so close you can almost taste its coolness, like a glass of water you left on your bedside table in the real world. The shrine from before stands quietly, its lotus carving glowing faintly, like it's decided to flex its divine aesthetic. You notice more offerings, shells, a feather, a knot of thread like someone's been stress crafting for the gods. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians believed tying knots in rituals could bind evil spirits or secure blessings, like a magical zip tie for the supernatural. You eye the thread, half tempted to tie a knot for luck, but settle for a mental nice arts and crafts instead second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could DIY a divine favor. The water's edge feels sacred, its ripples catching starlight like a net woven from light. You kneel, splashing your face, the cold a gentle wake-up call that doesn't break the spell. The shadows are history, probably off rewriting their resume after failing to haunt you. The shrine's glow pulses, and you feel complete, like you finally closed all the tabs in your mental browser. Back in the temple, Nefertari's arranging her jars. The clink soft but deliberate, like she's composing a symphony with clay. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether dream books were used by priests for every dreamer or reserved for elite clients, like a VIP service for pharaohs and their pals. You're betting on priests played favorites, because Nefertari is too sharp to waste their papyrus on just anyone. The oasis fades, the temple's starry ceiling sliding back, its constellations winking like they're proud of you. You shift on the mat, the reeds a faint suggestion, your body sinking like a pebble in honey. Remember the figs lady from the street? She's back in your mind, probably bartering her last basket for a better spot tomorrow. Life outside hums, but here, you're wrapped in quiet. The drip-drip of Nefertari's clinks a lullaby you didn't know you needed. Your nightmares are silent, irrelevant, like a notification you've swiped away. The shrine's glow lingers in your thoughts, and you think maybe this is what healing feels like: a desert, a star, a temple, and no shadows to crash the party. You're nestled in the temple's golden embrace, the world a soft blur of light and quiet, like you've slipped into a daydream someone else painted. The reed mat beneath you is barely a whisper. Its crackles so faint, it's like the memory of stepping on dry grass in a summer you can't quite recall. Nefertari's lamps glow low, their flames steady but sleepy, casting shadows that curl along the walls like they've decided to take a nap. The air carries a trace of lotus and something warm, maybe the faint scent of barley from an offering, teasing you with the idea of a snack you'll never find. Your body's a distant hum, your thoughts drifting like a boat on the Nile's gentlest ripples. If Nefertari's cure is this good, you're half tempted to ask for her business card, though you're sure it'd just say, Priestess, Dream Fixer, Lion Goddess Stan. The drip of water in the temple is your guide, each drop a soft pad, like a friend tapping your shoulder to say, you're okay, just chill. You follow it, sinking back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars shine with a quiet confidence, like they've got your back but aren't making a big deal about it. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed dreams could predict the future, with priests trained to read them like a divine weather forecast, guiding everything from planting crops to planning battles. You picture Nefertari squinting at your marsh nightmare like it's a cryptic email from the gods. And it's almost too much first joke of the day, imagining her muttering, shadows again? Take it up with Achar. I'm just a messenger. The oasis lies ahead, its palms swaying lazily, their fronds brushing the air like they're gossiping about the stars. The shrine from before stands quietly, its lotus carving glowing faintly, like it's decided to lean into its mystical aesthetic. You notice a new offering, a small clay figurine, rough but earnest, like someone's kid made it for a school project. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians crafted such figurines, called ashabti, to serve the dead in the afterlife. But some were left at shrines to carry prayers, like a divine post-it note. You eye the figurine, half tempted to pat its lumpy head, but settle for a mental cute effort instead. Second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could critique ancient arts and crafts. The oasis water shimmers, its surface catching starlight like a mirror that's too pretty to be practical. You kneel, dipping your hands, the cold a soft jolt that grounds you without breaking the spell. The shadows from your nightmares are nowhere, probably off rethinking their life choices after you outsnarked them. The shrine's glow pulses, and you feel steady, like you've finally found the right Wi-Fi signal for your soul. Back in the temple, Nefertari's moving again, her footsteps soft but deliberate, like she's pacing to keep Sekhmet's statue entertained. You hear the faint rustle of papyrus, like she's jotting notes, and it's oddly comforting, like knowing someone's keeping track of your progress. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether dream predictions were taken literally or as symbolic guides, like a horoscope you could argue your way out of. You're leaning toward symbolic with a side of hope, because the oasis feels too peaceful to be a literal forecast, but real enough to matter. You shift on the mat, the reeds a faint suggestion, your body sinking like a pebble in warm honey. Remember the donkey from the street? Its brain pops into your thoughts. Distant now, probably dreaming of a day off. The thought drifts, carried by the drip-drip and Nefertari's quiet rustle, and you're sinking deeper. Your nightmare's a faint echo, like a song you finally changed the station on. You're adrift in the temple's soft glow, the world a gentle hum of light and stillness, like you've wandered into the universe's coziest hideaway. The reed mat's a distant memory, its crackle so faint, it's like the echo of a breeze you felt years ago. Nefertari's lamps burn low, their shadows barely stirring, like they've decided the night's too calm for drama. The air smells of lotus and a hint of something spicy, maybe coriander from her herbal stash, like the temple's brewing a potion just for your soul. Your mind's a lazy current, your body a suggestion, and you're half convinced Nefertari's secretly a sleep alchemist who's about to patent Sekhmet's dream tonic. The drip-drip of water keeps its rhythm, slow and stubborn, like a clock that's decided time's just a guideline. You follow it, slipping back into the dream desert, where the sand's cool and the stars glow with a quiet assurance, like they've seen worse than your nightmares and aren't impressed. Major fact: ancient Egyptians used temple sanctuaries, called sanatoria, as healing centers where dreamers sought cures through rituals and divine intervention, like a spiritual spa with better incense. You imagine Nefertari running this sanatorium like a pro, handing out honey drinks and sass in equal measure, and it's too funny first joke. Picturing her with a clipboard barking, "Next dreamer, let's make it quick. Sekhmet's got a schedule." The oasis is right there. Its water so close you can smell its coolness, like a rain you've been craving but haven't named. The shrine stands proud, its lotus carving glowing brighter now, like it's decided to show off for you. You notice more offerings: a shell, a knot of thread, a tiny bread loaf, like someone's been stress baking for the gods. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians believed bread offerings could sustain spirits or gods, leaving loaves at shrines like a divine potluck contribution. You eye the bread, half tempted to snag it, but mutter a mental "nice carbs" instead second joke, and it's on you for thinking you could crash a cosmic buffet. The water's edge feels alive, its ripples catching starlight like a net woven from dreams. You splash your face, the cold sharp but soothing, like a reset button you didn't know you needed. The shadows are gone, probably off rewriting their playbook after you outlasted them. The shrine's glow wraps around you, and you feel whole, like you finally found the missing piece of a puzzle you didn't know you were solving. Back in the temple, Nefertari's arranging her papyrus, the rustle soft but deliberate, like she's writing your dream report for the gods. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether sanatoria relied more on psychological comfort or actual medical treatments, like a debate over whether it's the placebo or the pill. Your team, both, because Nefertari's setup feels like therapy with a side of magic. The oasis fades, the temple's starry ceiling returning, its constellations winking like they're cheering you on. You shift on the mat, the reeds barely there, your body sinking like a stone in molasses. Remember the figs lady from the street? She's back in your mind, probably counting her coins by now, her basket long gone. Life outside hums, but here, you're cocooned. The drip-drip and Nefertari's rustle a lullaby you didn't ask for, but love. Your nightmares are silent, irrelevant, like a text you've left on read. The shrine's glow lingers, and you think, maybe, this is what freedom feels like: a desert, a star, a temple, and no shadows to steal the light. You're cradled in the temple's soft light, the world a gentle blur of warmth and quiet, like you've slipped into a blanket woven from starlight and silence. The reed mat beneath you is a faint memory, its crackle so soft it's like the echo of a leaf falling in a forest you'll never visit. Nefertari's lamps flicker, their flames barely stirring, casting shadows that slump against the walls, like they've given up on being dramatic. The air smells of lotus and a trace of something sweet, maybe honey from her jars, teasing you with the idea of a treat you're too relaxed to chase. Your body's a distant hum, your thoughts drifting like a papyrus boat on the Nile's calmest tide. If Nefertari's cure is this effective, you're half tempted to ask for her Wi-Fi password to stay in this vibe forever, though you're sure it's just Sekhmet Trolls 123. The drip of water in the temple is your heartbeat now. Each drop a quiet nudge, like a friend whispering, "You're good, just let go." You follow it, sinking back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars glow with a steady calm, like they've seen your nightmares and decided they're not worth the hype. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed the god Thoth, with his ibis head and sharp mind, recorded dreams in his divine ledger, tracking the soul's journey like an accountant for the afterlife. You picture Thoth now, scribbling notes about your marsh chase like it's a spreadsheet entry. And it's almost too much first joke of the day, imagining him muttering, "Another nightmare? Budget cuts, mortal, get a better plot." The oasis shimmers ahead, its palms swaying lazily, their fronds whispering like they're sharing gossip about the moon. The shrine from before stands quietly, its lotus carving glowing softly, like it's decided to dial down the divine sparkle for your sake. You notice a new offering, a small reed basket, woven tight, holding a single date, like someone left a snack for a picky god. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians used woven baskets in rituals to hold offerings, believing their tight weave could trap blessings or keep evil spirits out, like a divine Tupperware. You eye the basket, half tempted to peek inside, but settle for a mental nice packaging, instead second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could raid a god's lunchbox. The oasis water ripples gently, catching starlight like a net spun from dreams. You kneel, splashing your face, the cold a soft spark that wakes you just enough to feel alive. The shadows from your nightmares are gone, probably off sulking in some cosmic corner, rewriting their scare tactics. The shrine's glow wraps you, and you feel light, like you finally deleted an app that's been draining your battery. Back in the temple, Nefertari's moving, her robe rustling softly, like a breeze through reeds. You hear the faint clink of a jar, like she's prepping another potion, and it's grounding, like knowing someone's got your back even when you're half asleep. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether Thoth's role in dreams was as a guide or just a cosmic bookkeeper, logging visions without meddling. You're leaning toward bookkeeper with flair, because the oasis feels too personal to be just a line in his ledger. You shift on the mat, the reeds a faint whisper, your body sinking like a stone in warm syrup. Remember the potter from the street? His wheels back in your thoughts, spinning jars that'll outlast empires, maybe even your nightmares. The thought drifts, carried by the drip-drip in Nefertari's quiet clinks, and you're sinking deeper. Your nightmare is a faint hum, like a song you finally skipped. You're floating in the temple's golden haze, the world a soft pulse of light and stillness, like you've wandered into a dream someone forgot to finish. The reed mat's a distant suggestion, its crackle so faint it's like the memory of a breeze you felt in another life. Nefertari's lamps burn low, their shadows slumped against the walls, too tired to stir. The air smells of lotus and a hint of something earthy, maybe the clay of her jars, grounding you in a way that's both ancient and oddly familiar, like coming home to a place you've never been. Your mind's a lazy ripple, your body a whisper, and you're half convinced Nefertari's slipped you a divine nightcap, though you're sure she'd call it Sekhmet snooze juice. The drip-drip of water is your anchor, steady and patient, like a clock that's decided time's just a suggestion. You follow it, slipping back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars shine with a quiet assurance, like they've got better things to do, but still like you. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed dreams were portals to the do-it, the underworld, where a soul could meet gods or face trials, like a spiritual escape room with higher stakes. You imagine your soul navigating the do-it, dodging shadow monsters like it's in a low-budget video game, and it's too funny first joke, picturing your ba muttering, "Where's the save point, Thoth?" The oasis is right there. Its water so close you can feel its coolness, like a promise you didn't know you needed. The shrine stands proud, its lotus carving glowing brighter, like it's decided to lean into its divine aesthetic. You notice more offerings, a shell, a knot of thread, a tiny clay bird, like someone's been crafting for the god's Etsy shop. Obscure tidbit. Egyptians believe birds symbolize the soul's flight, often leaving bird-shaped offerings to guide dreams or spirits, like a divine GPS for the afterlife. You eye the clay bird, half tempted to give it a nudge, but settle for a mental nice wings instead second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could critique a god's art project. The water's edge feels alive, its ripples catching starlight like a net woven from hope. You splash your face, the cold sharp but kind, like a friend shaking you awake just enough to enjoy the moment. The shadows are gone, probably off rebranding themselves after you outlasted their scare tactics. The shrine's glow pulses, and you feel whole, like you've finally closed a book you've been meaning to finish. Back in the temple, Nefertari's arranging her jars, the clink soft but deliberate, like she's composing a lullaby with clay. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether the do-it was seen as a literal place or a metaphor for the subconscious, like a cosmic therapy session. Your team metaphor with vibes, because the oasis feels too real to be just your brain's fanfic. The oasis fades, the temple's starry ceiling sliding back, its constellations winking like they're proud of you. You shift on the mat, the reeds barely there, your body sinking like a pebble in honey. Remember the figs lady from the street. She's back in your thoughts, probably haggling over her last basket, her voice sharp but warm. Life outside hums, but here, you're wrapped in quiet. The drip and Nefertari's clinks a melody you didn't know you loved. Your nightmares are silent, irrelevant, like a notification you've swiped away. The shrine's glow lingers, and you think, maybe this is what peace feels like: a desert, a star, a temple, and no shadows to dim the light. You're nestled in the temple's golden glow, the world a soft whisper of light and calm, like you've wandered into a lullaby carved from sandstone and starlight. The reed mat beneath you is a faint suggestion. Its crackle so delicate, it's like the memory of a breeze rustling through a field you've never seen. Nefertari's lamps flicker gently, their flames slumped low, casting shadows that lean against the walls, like they've decided to call it a night. The air carries a trace of lotus and something warm, maybe the faint sweetness of dates from an offering, teasing you with the idea of a snack you're too dreamy to pursue. Your body's a distant murmur, your thoughts drifting like a feather on the Nile's quietest current. If Nefertari's cure is this potent, you're half tempted to ask for her recipe book, though you're sure it's just a papyrus scroll titled Sekhmet's Guide to Napping Like a God. The drip of water in the temple is your compass, each drop a soft tap, like a friend nudging you to relax into the moment. You follow it, slipping back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars burn with a quiet confidence, like they've seen your fears and decided they're not worth the papyrus they're written on. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed the goddess Hathor, with her cow horns and soothing voice, could guide dreamers through the night, her music calming restless souls like a divine Spotify playlist. You picture Hathor now, strumming a harp while your nightmares sulk in the background. And it's almost too much first joke of the day, imagining her telling your shadows, "Take a seat. We're doing chill vibes only tonight." The oasis lies ahead, its palms swaying gently, their fronds whispering like they're sharing secrets about the stars. The shrine from before stands quietly, its lotus carving glowing softly, like it's decided to keep the divine drama to a minimum. You notice a new offering, a small linen cloth, folded neatly, with a faint blue thread woven through it, like someone left a handmade bookmark for the gods. Obscure tidbit. Egyptians use blue thread in rituals to symbolize the heavens, believing it could connect the earthly and divine, like a cosmic Ethernet cable. You eye the cloth, half tempted to touch it, but settle for a mental nice stitching instead. Second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could judge a god's textile game. The oasis water shimmers, its surface catching starlight like a mirror polished by dreams. You kneel, dipping your fingers, the cold a gentle spark that wakes you just enough to feel present. The shadows from your nightmares are long gone, probably off reworking their scare tactics in some divine focus group. The shrine's glow wraps you, and you feel unburdened, like you've finally cleared the clutter from your mental desktop. Back in the temple, Nefertari's footsteps echo softly, her robe swishing like a breeze through papyrus. You hear the faint scrape of a clay lid, like she's prepping another potion, and it's grounding, like knowing someone's keeping the world steady while you drift. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether Hathor's role in dreams was as a protector or a muse, inspiring visions rather than just guarding them. You're leaning toward both with extra sparkle, because the oasis feels too serene to be just a divine bodyguard's work. You shift on the mat, the reeds a faint whisper, your body sinking like a pebble in warm molasses. Remember the figs lady from the street? She's back in your thoughts, probably counting her coins under a flickering lamp, her basket long empty. The thought drifts, carried by the drip-drip and Nefertari's quiet movements, and you're sinking deeper, your nightmares a faint echo, like a message you've archived without reading. You're adrift in the temple's golden haze, the world a gentle pulse of light and quiet, like you've stumbled into a dream where the universe decided to turn down the volume. The reed mat's a distant memory, its crackle so faint it's like the echo of a wave lapping at a shore you've never walked. Nefertari's lamps burn low, their shadows barely stirring, like they've decided the night's too peaceful for theatrics. The air smells of lotus and a hint of something spicy, maybe coriander from her herbal stash, like the temple's brewing a potion to keep your soul cozy. Your mind's a soft ripple, your body a suggestion, and you're half convinced Nefertari's slipped you a divine decaf, though you're sure she'd call it Sekhmet's Serenity Sip. The drip-drip of water is your guide, steady and calm, like a metronome set to no worries allowed. You follow it, slipping back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars glow with a quiet assurance, like they've got better things to do but still think you're all right. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed the god Anubis, with his jackal head and sharp gaze, could guard dreamers from malevolent spirits, patrolling the do-it like a divine security guard. You imagine Anubis now sniffing out your nightmare shadows like they're trespassers. And it's too funny. First joke, picturing him growling, "No loitering, shadows, move along or I'm calling Thoth." The oasis is right there. Its water so close you can feel its coolness, like a promise whispered by the stars. The shrine stands proud, its lotus carving glowing brighter, like it's decided to flex its sacred aesthetic for you. You notice more offerings, a shell, a knot of thread, a small stone painted red, like someone's been crafting for a divine art show. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians used red paint in rituals to symbolize life and protection, believing it could ward off evil like a spiritual stop sign. You eye the stone, half tempted to give it a nod, but settle for a mental, bold color choice instead. Second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could critique a god's Pinterest board. The water's edge feels alive, its ripples catching starlight like a net spun from hope. You splash your face, the cold sharp but soothing, like a reset button for your soul. The shadows are gone, probably off rewriting their playbook after you outlasted them. The shrine's glow pulses, and you feel complete, like you've finally found the last piece of a puzzle you didn't know you were solving. Back in the temple, Nefertari's arranging her jars. The clink soft but deliberate, like she's composing a melody with clay. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether Anubis's role in dreams was as a fierce guardian or a gentle guide, like a debate over whether he's a bouncer or a therapist. Your team guardian with a soft side, because the oasis feels too safe to be just a jackal's patrol route. The oasis fades, the temple's starry ceiling sliding back, its constellations winking like they're cheering you on. You shift on the mat, the reeds barely there, your body sinking like a stone in honey. Remember the potter from the street? He's back in your thoughts, his wheels spinning jars that'll hold someone's dreams or maybe just their grain. Life outside hums, but here, you're cocooned. The drip in Nefertari's clinks a lullaby you didn't know you needed. Your nightmares are silent, irrelevant, like a notification you've swiped away. The shrine's glow lingers, and you think, maybe, this is what healing feels like: a desert, a star, a temple, and no shadows to steal the calm. You're suspended in the temple's golden hush. The world a soft murmur of light and peace, like you drifted into a poem written by the stars. The reed mat beneath you is a whisper of existence. Its crackle so faint, it's like the memory of a leaf brushing your hand in a dream. Nefertari's lamps glow faintly, their flames barely flickering, casting shadows that slump against the walls, like they've decided to take a permanent vacation. The air carries a trace of lotus and something warm, maybe the faint sweetness of barley from an offering, teasing you with the idea of a comfort you're too relaxed to seek. Your body's a distant echo, your thoughts floating like a papyrus scroll unfurled on the Nile's quietest tide. If Nefertari's cure is this serene, you're half tempted to ask for her divine TED Talk, though you're sure it's just called How to Nap Like Sekhmet. The drip of water in the temple is your anchor, each drop a gentle pat, like a friend whispering, "You're safe. Just rest." You follow it, slipping back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars shine with a quiet certainty, like they've seen your fears and decided they're not worth the ink. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed the goddess Isis, with her wings and boundless compassion, could weave spells to protect dreamers, her magic shielding the soul like a divine weighted blanket. You picture Isis now, folding her wings around your marsh nightmare like it's a misbehaving toddler, and it's almost too much. First joke of the day, imagining her sighing, "Shadows, really? Go to timeout. I'm busy being iconic." The oasis lies ahead, its palms swaying softly, their fronds whispering like they're sharing the universe's oldest lullaby. The shrine from before stands quietly, its lotus carving glowing gently, like it's decided to keep the divine glow low-key for your sake. You notice a new offering, a small copper ring, simple but polished, like someone left a token of trust for the gods. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians use copper in rituals for its connection to eternity, believing its green patina symbolized rebirth, like a divine glow-up over time. You eye the ring, half tempted to give it a nod, but settle for a mental nice bling, instead second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could raid a god's jewelry collection. The oasis water ripples, catching starlight like a net spun from serenity. You kneel, splashing your face, a cold, a soft spark that grounds you without breaking the calm. The shadows from your nightmares are gone, probably off licking their wounds in some cosmic support group. The shrine's glow wraps you, and you feel free, like you finally unsubscribed from a newsletter you never signed up for. Back in the temple, Nefertari's footsteps echo faintly, her robe swishing like a breeze through reeds. You hear the soft clink of a jar, like she's tidying her mystical toolkit, and it's soothing, like knowing someone's keeping the world steady while you float. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether Isis's dream spells were seen as literal magic or symbolic comfort, like a divine bedtime story with extra sparkle. You're leaning toward magic with heart, because the oasis feels too real to be just a metaphor. You shift on the mat, The reeds a faint suggestion, your body sinking like a pebble in warm syrup. Remember the donkey from the street? Its brain drifts into your thoughts, faint and far, probably dreaming of a world without work. The thought fades, carried by the drip-drip and Nefertari's quiet clinks, and you're sinking deeper. Your nightmare's a distant hum, like a radio you finally turned off. You're adrift in the temple's golden quiet. The world a soft breath of light and stillness, like you've wandered into a dream where the universe decided to pause for you. The reed mat's a distant whisper, its crackle so faint it's like the echo of a star falling in a sky you'll never see. Nefertari's lamps are nearly out, their shadows melted into the walls, like they've decided the night's too gentle for edges. The air smells of lotus and a trace of something earthy, maybe the clay of her jars, grounding you in a way that feels ancient and eternal, like coming home to a place you've always known. Your mind's a soft wave, your body a suggestion, and you're half convinced Nefertari's woven you into a spell though. You're sure she'd call it Sekhmet's final snooze. The drip-drip of water is your lullaby, steady and slow, like a heartbeat that's decided time can wait forever. You follow it, slipping back into the dream desert, where the sands cool and the stars glow with a quiet grace, like they've seen your journey and think you did all right. Major fact: ancient Egyptians believed the act of dreaming was a sacred ritual, a bridge between the mortal and divine, where the soul could renew itself like the sun rising each dawn. You picture your soul now, stretching in the desert like it's just finished a long shift. And it's too funny first joke, imagining it muttering, "No more marshes, I'm clocking out." The oasis is right there, its water so still it's like a mirror for the stars, reflecting a piece you didn't know you could find. The shrine stands proud, its lotus carving glowing softly, like it's decided to bow out with quiet dignity. You notice one last offering, a single white feather, light and perfect, like someone left a thank you note for the gods. Obscure tidbit: Egyptians believed white feathers symbolized Mat, the goddess of truth and balance, whose feather weighed against the heart in the afterlife, like a divine lie detector. You eye the feather, half tempted to touch it, but settle for a mental nice touch, instead second joke. And it's on you for thinking you could add to a goddess's aesthetic. The water's edge feels sacred, its ripples catching starlight like a net woven from eternity. You splash your face one last time, the cold gentle and final, like a farewell you're ready to give. The shadows are gone, not even a whisper, like they finally accepted you're not their target anymore. The shrine's glow fades and you feel whole, like you finally found the last page of a book you've been writing all along. Back in the temple, Nefertari's silent now, her presence a quiet hum, like she stepped back to let you rest. Scholarly uncertainty. Historians still debate whether dream rituals were meant to heal the body or the soul, like a debate over whether it's the medicine or the belief. Your team, both, because the temple feels too alive to be just one way. The oasis fades, the temple's ceiling returns, its starry ceiling dimming like a final curtain. You sink into the mat, the reeds gone, your body dissolving into the night's embrace. Remember the figs lady, the potter, the street? They're distant now, their hum a soft echo, like lives woven into a tapestry you've left behind. The drip-drip slows, the air grows still, and you're floating, carried by a tide older than time. Your nightmares are silent, irrelevant, like a dream you've forgotten before waking. The feather's white glow lingers, and you know, this is what renewal feels like: a desert, a star, a temple, and no shadows to dim your light. Wind down. And so, you rest here, cradled in the temple's fading glow, where the air is soft as a sigh, and the stars above whisper of journeys complete. The Nile flows beyond, its waters carrying away the weight of your fears, leaving only the promise of dawn's quiet hums in the distance, a lullaby woven from sand and light. rocking you gently into a sleep deeper than the desert's heart. The shrine's feather drifts in your mind, light as truth, steady as balance, guiding you to a place where shadows cannot follow, where the soul renews like the sun rising over Memphis, golden and eternal. You breathe slow, each exhale a release, each inhale a gift, sinking into a quiet so profound it feels like the universe itself is holding you close, whispering, "Sleep now, you've earned it." The temple fades, the stars soften, and you drift, weightless, into a dreamless peace, where the Nile song carries you home.